Okay, my people. We are still live from Abuja. I connect live to Abuja. As you can see me waiting for them to resume so that we can know where they stand and where they do not stand. But the fact still remains that it's a good equal. Please, anywhere you are watching me from, kindly type at the comment sections. May God deliver Igbos from the hands of the zoo. I want you to please note this. May God deliver the Igbos from the hands of the zoo. As it stands now, we really need the intervention of more higher power than what we have now, because these people are unrepentant, blood-sucking demons. And I can tell you this for free of charge. The injustice that they are going to deliver today. Anyway, let's not hope on that, but let's just believe that everything is going to work out perfectly okay. Please, if you join, let me say, just say hi. Cypher, Cypher from London. If I say now your name, they use create that coin. There's one coin they call Cypher. That coin damaged over 1,500 from my hand. I will come back for you. You are going to pay me the money. I swear to God, you are going to pay me the money. Over 1,500. Change it to zoo currency. All millions of naira we are talking about. We hope for the best. We hope for the best. And I really don't want to let it not be a kind of I'm giving us a false hope. But my brother, my sister, you see this life. Imagine the evidence they are using in the court. Sahara reporters broadcast. Nnamdi Kanu make a broadcast. No, Sahara reporters interview. Nnamdi Kanu made a broadcast. Nnamdi Kanu said they should burn down Nigeria. The death of Ahmed Gulag on the 30th of May. You can imagine what these people are. Oh my goodness. Oh, Thunder, where are you? Thunder, please, where are you? Oh, I beg, if you join, comment. Please comment. He said Nigeria court is gradually sinking. No more hope for the rule of law. If there is, why haven't they shown Mazen Nnamdi Kanu the law where it is written that somebody cannot give a final verdict of his own case? My brothers, anybody who still agitates for one Nigeria, I am sorry for that person. You are an Igbo man. Even if you are not an Igbo man, you still believe in one Nigeria, because the injustice, if it not touch you today, it will definitely touch you tomorrow. There's no two ways about that. If you believe that, oh, it is only on Mazen Nnamdi Kanu that this injustice is going to end, that means you are just, in fact, you are living in a fantasy world. Go and see what happened the other day. Tinubu appeared in NPA conference, Nigeria Bar Association, an independent body that's supposed to hold the executive at ransom whenever they do something that's not good. What they are singing there to welcome Tinubu and where it's going is on your mandate we shall stand. When everybody come out to begin to shout, they begin to debunk it, that they never sing it, and it was just played. And all of you stood up. It was just played. You couldn't hold your ground and say, no, reverse that music. That is not Nigeria's national anthem. Injustice will reach everyone who supports injustice, whether you are the Igbo man or Hausa man or Yoruba man. And you will never escape from it on this life. I don't even want to hear whatever that father being committed should be then used to punish the son, the daughter, or the children. Mba, that one is not on our book again. No. Anybody who committed anything is going to suffer it on this earth. Who is sending help for review? Nigeria is evil. Yeah, of course, that name is an evil name. Anybody who is agitating for that name, my brother, hey. Head for review, head back. Okay, Okuta Daily Talk. You deleted message. It is well, oh. We keep on waiting, Comment sent with the stars will appear here, okay? Send your stars, oh, if you have anyone. Uchenna, big Uchenna, yes, brother. My brother, as it stands now, the only Chukwu Ogiabia and I go save us. Nnakechukwu Okabiama na go save us. In case of anybody who will come and tell me now that I'm wishing Mazi Nnamdi Kanu bad, hold the jigwe now. If the court can be able to admit that the evidence that they will use to convict Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is hearsay, somebody do interview on Sahara Reporters, and at the same time, that Nnamdi Kanu made a broadcast that they should burn down Nigeria and Lagos during the EndSARS. My brothers, can go on Kewezoku. I have to be honest with you guys. But I promise them, they kill or jail him, there will be no more peace in all over Nigeria. Even the peace self, you see, there's no peace in Nigeria. It is as a result of the Biafrans they killed during the genocidal war. They leveled at, they forced us into a war that we never prepared for. But upon that, we still stood our ground. We are waiting. Let them come and dispatch the judgment. And there's one thing, okay, anyway, I don't need to talk about that. I think that should be on our next message. Let me not just force everything. According to what is happening now, I said, why are they delaying? They are going inside there to prepare their mind to come out and announce the heartbreak, because what they are going to announce is a heartbreak. But let me ask you, please, if anybody have answers to this question now, please kindly answer. What are security men surrounding Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's home for? What are they doing there? As I'm talking to you now, Nnamdi Kanu house have been surrounded by heavily armed men. What are they doing in Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's house? Probably when announced that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu have been sentenced or whatever they may choose, then they burn the house. In fact, I don't understand what is wrong with these people. Yet we have government in other states. Who sent those people there? I am very sure that Alex Oti don't have power over any policeman or policewoman. They don't have a power over it. So the question there, who sent those guys there and what were they doing there? The court held that the time Kanu was first charged, the extant law was the terrorism prevention. Oh, okay, let me see what they just wrote here now. The court held that at the time Kanu was first charged, the extant law was the Terrorism Prevention and Prohibition Act of 2013 as amended. Oh, you are charging him based on when his trial started in 2015 is when Mazi Nnamdi Kanu trial started. But the same law you want to use to convict him is the one that has been amended since 2021-2022. Exactly what Muhammadu Buhari did when he murdered, or rather when he ordered for the execution of 3 Igbo guys. Those guys have been held before they enact a law of death sentence to anybody being caught smuggling hard drugs. But when when the law came into place, Buhari quickly used it to execute those guys. But those guys were held when the law was not in place. Exactly what they want to do to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu now. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, the law they want to use to try Mazi Nnamdi Kanu have already been long forgotten. But they want to bring in, because Mazi Nnamdi Kanu trial started early. It's all right. James Omoto also maintained that under Section 30 of the same act gave the federal High Court jurisdiction to try the matter. The court held that at the time was the first charge, okay, stand law, whatever they call it. Let the light steady. Don't panic or flinch. My brother, this one is not a matter of don't panic or flinch. Anybody who have blood flowing on your veins is supposed to feel for Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. You're supposed to feel for Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is in detention. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is incarcerated, but no. The whole Igbo race is incarcerated. The entirety of anything that Igbos represent, you believe on what is happening today, oh, you don't believe it, you support it, oh, you don't support it, oh. My brother, my sister, don't deceive yourself. You are among. If Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is fighting for himself alone, he wouldn't have been here by now. Since 2017, he would have collected money the same way Wazirike collect money and turned his back on Biafrans and said, I give up, under Obasanjo. So what are we still saying? As Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is in captivity, the whole Igbo race is in captivity. Let us not abandon this man. He's supposed to have a feelings the same way I'm having feelings for him. Nobody is praying for bad things to happen to him. Nobody is praying for that. God forbid for anything bad to happen to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, but let us face the reality. This is not a country, but an animal kingdom, a banana republic. I weep for the people who still believe in the so-called one Nigeria. Justice for Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Please, comment. Keep on writing. Justice for Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Justice for Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Tag any authority you want to tag. Please, do that. Because, oh wow. God must surely see us through. They said they are going 5 minutes break. It's over 10 minutes now. They are still never come back. Maybe they just warm up. They will go there now, smoke Igbo, drink the one they will drink. Because anybody who is going to deliver judgment on the case of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, you must be prepared for the consequences. You can never deliver such a judgment with a clear eye. Not at all. Please, let me see your comments. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is not a criminal. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is not a terrorist. Justice for Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Comment as many times as possible. You see, this the court is I mean, they broadcast this live. What are they trying to pretend? I mean, what image are they trying to how will I put this? Portray here? Oh, to show the world that they are transparent in what they are doing, right? After doing the wrong thing. Now God must surely save us in this world we are into. Bring them on. Video on. Please, we want to see what is going on inside the court. We don't need highlights. We don't need will no one come here to watch football. Whether they have sidelined people who supposed to broadcast the thing, we cannot say. The radio stations or TV stations we have connected, not even giving us anything again, other than people going inside the court room and coming outside the courtroom. Why are you guys outside and Channel TV is inside? Oh, Symphony is outside, Channel TV is inside. Okay, let me tune into Channel TV, let me see what is happening. Because better say these ones now, they don't get level. Wahala Oti Pojima wouldn't buy. Please keep on commenting. Keep on commenting. Nnamdi Kanu is not a terrorist. Nnamdi Kanu is not a criminal. Nnamdi Kanu is a good guy. Okay, 12,000 people watching. Let's see what happens.
Accused may get away with the risk of resting his case on that of the position.
Okay.
By that choice, the accused will have decided not to explain any part in reporter of the allegation made against him. He also the position of Supreme Court in the case of Ajibade and State Citation Supply, where the court held, and I quote, appellant elected not to give evidence in his defense, but to rest his case on that of the prosecution. The election is within his rights under the law, but the legal effect of the said election is to leave the court of trial free to accept the uncontroverted.
Please, I hope the volume is audible. You can hear it, right? Live from court, okay?
Evidence of the prosecution in proof of the charge, which the court rightly did, in my view, unquote. See also the case of Akin Ibiseyin versus Olajide citation supply. The defendant in this case deliberately refused and failed to call any witness and present evidence to his witnesses in rebuttal of the case of the prosecution. The implication is that he admits the case of the prosecution, and the court is entitled to rely on the uncontroverted evidence led by the prosecution. With respect to count 1 of the charge, the defendant is facing the charge of committing an act in furtherance of an act of terrorism against the Federal Republic of Nigeria by making a broadcast receive an act in Nigeria with intent to intimidate the population and threaten that people will die and the whole world will stand still, thereby committing an offense punishable under Section 1(2)(b) of the Terrorism Prevention and Amendment Act 2013.
Okay.
Said section provides a person or body corporate who knowingly in or outside Nigeria, directly or indirectly, willfully commit an act preparatory to or in furtherance of an act of terrorism, commit an offense under this act and is liable on the condition to maximum of death sentence. The ingredients of the offense are drawn from the above are: 1. The defendant must be a person or body corporate. 2. The defendant must have done an act preparatory to or in furtherance of an act of terrorism. 3. The defendant must have done the act preparatory to or in furtherance of terrorism act knowingly or willfully, and same may be directly or indirectly. See the case of Ada versus Federal Republic of Nigeria citations supplied. Looking at the first ingredient, there is no doubt that the defendant in this case is a person. He is known as Nnamdi Kanu. A man is in 50 who stood trial before this court. Thus, the first ingredient is resolved in favor of the prosecution.
Okay.
For the second ingredient, the prosecution led evidence showing that the action of defendants in making broadcasts threatening that people will die constitutes a terrorist act.
Okay.
Terrorism or a terrorist act, according to online Oxford Dictionary, is, I quote, the unlawful use of violence, intimidation, especially against citizens in the pursuit of political aim, unquote. It is also important to explain what constitutes terrorist act. Section 1(2) of the Terrorism Prevention Amendment Act 2013 provides us, and I quote, in this section, act of terrorism means an act which is deliberately done with malice and for thoughts and which A, may seriously harm or damage a country or international organization.
This is a country who rehabilitate the terrorists with guns and ammunition, who on daily basis, giving up their arms, like half of their arms. They even negotiate with them, appearing in a military uniform. They negotiate with them and call them repentant Boko Harams and terrorists. Then you want to convince somebody, say he made a broadcast, and you are quoting a dictionary, not quoting the law in which it states that anybody who make a words of his mouth should be persecuted. A cleric from Adamawa said that Bola Tinubu's wife head is supposed to be cut off because she is an infidel, because she is not a Muslim and Ahmed Tinubu is a Muslim. When the uproar came outside, they didn't arrest this man. He came out and said he apologized to Nigerians for making such a statement, not apologizing to the person he called infidel. And that is the end of that case. What that man did is a terrorism. a treasonable felony against the state. Head of a first lady of a nation, number one citizen. Then you want to charge Martin Nnamdi Kanu? Yeah, it sounds funny.
B is intended or can reasonably be regarded as having been intended.
Please, if you are watching me from Facebook, I think we need to go offline from Facebook now because my gadget now, the battery is going down. Or maybe I'll keep on, we keep on speaking. So I just want to let you know. So anytime the one of my phones off, that is a Facebook on. So please do not be offended. I forgot to charge it before I went to this live. So please, if the Facebook live off, not by me, do not get offended because the battery is low already. Well, we can continue from YouTube. Please, I beg you, let me not off it. But if it mistakenly off before they deliver the judgment, please bear with me.
Kidnapping of the persons. 3. Destruction to government or public facilities, transport system, and infrastructural facilities, including an information system, a peace platform located on the continental shelf, a public place, private properties, likely to endanger human life or result in major economic loss. 4. Disposal of an aircraft, ship, or any means of public or goods transport and diversion, or the use of such means of transportation for any of the purposes in paragraph B4 of this subsection. 5. The massive of fire, explosion of flood, the effect of which is to endanger human life.
Now, George, they read that,
7.
like a primary school student.
Destruction of supply of water, power, or any other fundamental natural resources, the effect of which is to endanger human life. G. An act or omission in or outside Nigeria which constitutes an offense within the scope of counter-terrorism protocol and convention duly ratified by Nigeria. The Supreme Court, by my noble Lord Kekere Ekun, JSC now the CJN, held in Abdul Mumuni versus Federal Republic of Nigeria, and I quote, Section 15.2 of the EFCC Act provides, any person who commits or attempts to commit a terrorist act or participates in it facilitates the commission of a terrorist act, commits an offense under this act, is liable on condition to imprisonment for life. Section 46 of the Act provides terrorism means any act which is a violation of the criminal code or the penal code and which may endanger the life, physical integrity, freedom of, or cause serious injuries or death to any person, any number or group of persons.
Shegumi is still out there.
Damage to public property, natural resources, environmental or cultural heritage is calculated or intended to intimidate, put in fear, force, coercion, or induce any government body or institution, the general public, or any section thereof to do or abstain from doing any act or to adopt or abandon a particular standpoint or to act according to certain principles or.
Let me pause for a while and say this thing. For you to know that this man is not the one who wrote this judgment. He didn't even go through it. They wrote the judgment, the same thing they did to Peter Obi during the what do they call it? Presidential panel or whatever they call it. They wrote judgment and just give them, go and deliver this judgment. If now this man wrote this thing and it is very difficult for him to read out what he wrote, then this man will be a disgrace of a judge. You can see even a primary school student will never read something like this. Because his heart is shaking, even his hand will be shaking reading this nonsense. To the international community, they will be watching you. And the American observers is also in this life in this court. And you are reading to them that the only thing you can use to convict Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is because he made a broadcast and you're quoting dictionary, not your own constitution, where it has become a crime that somebody should not exercise his own fundamental human rights.
To disrupt any public service, the delivery any essential service to the public, or to create a public emergency or create general insurrections in a state. Any promotion, sponsorship, or contribution to command, incitement, encouragement, attempt, threats, conspiracy, organization, or procurement of any person with the intent to commit any act referred to in paragraph A1, 2, and 3, unquote. It was further added, and I quote, the crucial aspect of offense of terrorism is the creation of intense fear and anxiety, both physical and psychological, in the mind of members of the public, which has the effect of coercing, forcing, intimidating them to do or abstain from doing any act, or to adopt or abandon a particular view, policy, or position to act according to certain principles, unquote. See also the case of Berende versus Federal Republic of Nigeria, citations of right. In my research, I came across a handbook from the United States Institute of Peace titled Teaching Guide on International Terrorism. Definition, causes, and responses, where several definitions of terrorism were given as follows. I quote, the calculated use of violence, the threat of violence to inculcate fears, intended to coerce or to intimidate governments or society in pursuit of goals that are generally political, religious, or ideological. Terrorism constitutes the illegitimate use of force to achieve a political objective when innocent people are targeted. Terrorism is defined here as the current use or threatened use of political motivated and clandestine organized violence by a group whose aim is to influence a psychological target in order to make it behave in a way which the group desires. See CJMD track. The unlawful use of force or violence against persons or properties to intimidate or coerce governments, the civilian populations, or any segment thereof in furtherance of political or social objectives. This is derived from Federal Bureau of Investigations. What therefore, unquote, what therefore constitutes a terrorist act from all the definition above is an act of violence, threat of violence intended to cause fear, put the recipients of such violence or fear in a state of fear. Applying the above definition to the facts of this case, the defendant in several of these broadcasts made several threatening harms to the federal government of Nigeria, the general Nigerian populace, including its own people who claim to fight for, who he claimed he fight for. In an interview with Sahara reporter, sorry.
Or I don't see. He can't even read anything. He can't even pronounce anything well. To tell you that even him delivering this judgment is on gunpoint. I said it earlier on that this is what they are going to do. And then they will then say that Tinubu now will come in and say a presidential pardon. And when you talk about presidential pardon, the people who are ruling him, who put him there, will then tell him not to try that. That the ones he pardoned in the past, you revoke them. I am not wishing Mazen Nnamdi Kanu bad. I don't even like the reason why somebody will come and be commenting and say that I should feel a free mind. All these kind of things they make me they put me off balance. You can as well. He have already described Mazen Nnamdi Kanu as a terrorist. Exactly what he's reading. So that is exactly, I said it earlier on, if you are following me very well, that these people are going to deliver nonsense judgment. Every judge run from Mazen Nnamdi Kanu's case. Even Injustice James Omotosho, Injustice Binta Yago, 2022, earlier 2022, told Sam Amade that Mazen Nnamdi Kanu's case is going nowhere. So when she found the opportunity to recuse herself, she did that. I mean, with wholeheartedly. And then this one, a Yoruba pastor and Yoruba baboons, who will tell you that Igbos are nothing. They see us as a less of a human being because of their hatred and jealousy. Now you are reading that Mazen Nnamdi Kanu made a broadcast act of terrorism, and you are reading, quoting dictionary, not even quoting where it is in your constitution. Make sure they hear very well. Oh. You don't understand. He will tell you that where it's in the dictionary, the act of terrorism, that when you make broadcast, is when you threaten people, and that is the act of terrorism. But the people who are killing, beheading people alive, are nowhere close to jail or even common police station. They are nowhere anywhere close to it. Let's continue watching.
In an interview with Sahara TV,
okay,
contained in Exhibit PWW, the defendant was interviewed by one Rodolph Okonkwo. He was introduced as the founder and director of Radio Biafra when the defendant appeared on the screen. His nameplate was Nnamdi Kanu, director Radio Biafra. While speaking on the national conference in Nigeria, which was organized at that time, the defendant mentioned the name of some of the representatives from the Southeast as the conference, and he said, if you go there and negotiate any other thing apart from Biafra, you better not come back, because our people will be waiting for you, that very person, unquote. When he was asked about the consequence for these representatives, including one Ike Nwanchukwu, the defendant was unequivocal when he said, things have changed, and that because the only language that people in the zoo understand is language of violence and force. After all, that very contraction was put together by Frederick Lugard by force. That is what many people don't understand. Lugard killed many people to put Nigeria together, and the killing of people to disintegrate the zoo shouldn't come to anybody as a surprise. Our promise is very simple. If they fail to give us Biafra, Somalia will look like a paradise compared to what will happen to the zoo. It is a promise. It is a pledge. Also a threat to them. They must understand it, that we have had enough of this nonsense. Unquote. It is not noteworthy that defendants in the said interview kept referring to the southeastern part of Nigeria as Biafra. The defendants made some comments, such as the governor of the southeastern state being the stooge of Hausa Fulani godfathers. He even stated that Rochas Okobocha, former governor of Imo, had decriminalized the entire state to satisfy its Hausa Fulani godfather. He said nobody had asked Governor Peter Obi about Izu River, and the person dumped in the said river. Further, during the interview, defendants, while answering a question about whether he will embrace a peace separation or choose a violent path, stated at about 7 minutes 30 second mark of Sahara TV interview in Exhibit PWW, which is a flash drive containing all its broadcasts, said, and I quote, "If they do not give us Biafra, there will be nothing living in that very zoo called Nigeria. Nothing will survive there, I can assure you," unquote. He also made reference to the Nigeria Civil War when he said, in 1967 to 1970, it's not 2010 to 2015. Then we had scientists, but now we have people who can make things happen even better than what we had in the late 60s. So that should ring a warning that we are not joking. 8 minutes mark in the flash. He said, "I do not believe in peaceful actualization of whatever rubbish is called. I have never seen where you will become free by peaceful means," unquote.
Okay.
The defendant also lent support for violent acts when he said he welcomed what a group known as Biafra Zionist group did when they unleashed violence at the Enugu State Government House. He even said he hoped more people will come out to join his group to overthrow the corrupt and inept persons in administration of the government, stating that Biafra must exist and it is their right to make sure it happens. In the broadcast of 16th May 2021, also contained in Exhibit PWW, the defendants in the beginning of the broadcast stated thus: "My name is Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. I am the leader of indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, and director of Radio Biafra and Biafra Television. I will remain a loyal servant of the people of Biafra." He further stated around 51 minutes mark, and I quote, "If God is on our side, which I know He is, the army of Nigeria will die in Biafra land. Everybody will die. I will be the one leading it. By God's grace, everything called Nigeria will perish in Biafra land. The world must be prepared for what is to come. I want to let Catherine Lance and the British government to know that we have chosen the path of death, and people are dying every day. We have to develop the mindset of after this, which even though NATO is there, will not. NATO is there. He said that we are ready to die, and everyone that comes to kill us will die also, because things will start happening in the next 14 days. In the next 2 weeks, the slaughter will begin to happen. You see those CNN that have refused to come to Biafra will come by force to see what is happening. We will make sure that every Nigerian soldier on Biafra soil will die. God is my witness. I will lead this burial myself. Unquote. Around 55 minutes mark to the exhibit, he said, and I quote, "I want the United Government to understand that we are ready to die than be slaves," unquote. At about 1 hour mark, he said, and I quote, "Israel was named Palestinians by the Romans because they were too stubborn. Go and ask how they did it. They bombed them, the Romans, away. Not these roadside bombs. Every road leading to Biafra will be manned, landmark. Everything that is Nigeria, whether it is police, army, will blow till the kingdom come."
Okay.
Very neat and simple. Very neat and simple.
You decided to come back already.
The defendant also stated in that same broadcast, and I quote, "We are asking for our freedom, and they are listening. But when we start doing what we want, the whole world will start begging us, and then I will come out from wherever I am and tell them that it's too late. Throw away the phones. Remain incommunicado as we are in the state of war. It will not kill you to do away with your phone. Some people should go into the bush and stop the advance of this army, or else they will kill you. Unquote. These words spoken by the defendants in those broadcasts were not mere words, as they heavy traces of threats to harm people, including international representatives representing their nation in Nigeria. The said broadcasts were several in numbers, and defendants kept repeating his rhetoric that people will die if Biafra is not created. The defendant planned to commit the terrorist act did not only manifest in his broadcast, but was shown in a meeting he had with other Igbo people in the United States. At a World Congress, Igbo Congress meeting held at the 4 Points Hotel in Los Angeles, in the United States of America, as contained in Exhibit PWW. The defendant, while speaking to the audience, stated, and I quote, "We must not miss this golden opportunity we are bound to suffer in this time to come. You must come out to support what we are doing. We need guns and we need bullets. I know we love life so much. Without it, Hausa will overrun us. They have succeeded in imposing Okoroshan on us. They are coming. Boko Haram is coming in Igbo land."
Okay.
A female participant stood up to ask the defendant of his objective, as well as why need for weapons. The defendant responded, and I quote, "We now know that the best way to defend ourselves is to be armed, because Boko Haram is everywhere in Zoo.
Na lie? No be lie.
We need guns and bullets.
Okay.
And those of you in America will give it to us. Also, on the 22nd day of this month, something will happen called the blood moon. Most of you don't know that just before the Civil War, there was blood moon. There was blood moon in 67. And it only happens once in a while, because after this year, we will be free, no matter what happens. If we don't get Biafra, everyone will live to die. We are not joking. His intention was quite clear. He believes only in violence as the solution to the creation of Biafra as a nation. And at the said World Igbo Congress, most of the participants were quite alarmed by the expressions as his plans, and so they kept asking if he had considered the option of peaceful dialogue, to which the defendant was adamant that only violence could lead to the achievement of his aims. These threats of violence are nothing but terrorist acts, which was duly carried out by his followers as will be seen later in this judgment. The defendant knew what he was doing while making these violent statements. He obviously had an objective, which one, the face of it is political. That is, secession of the state of Southeast, South, and some middle belt states from the Federal Republic of Nigeria to form Biafra. The defendant was also bent on achieving his objective with the use of violence, and he didn't mind if his own people died in that process. As one of the crucial elements in establishing crime, the intention and the knowledge with which the defendant carried out the acts can be expressed by him. If not so expressed, can be deduced from his conduct or activities or other connected circumstances. CD Berede and Federal Republic of Nigeria. From the uncontroverted evidence led by the prosecution, particularly the broadcast contained in Exhibit PWW, it is clear that the defendants committed acts preparatory to and in furtherance of terrorist acts. The defendants had the opportunity to explain but failed and deliberately refused to take that opportunity. Thus, he did not place any evidence before this court to explain the context of the said broadcast or any reason which may be exculpatory in his favor. Having failed and deliberately refused to enter defense or give explanation, the court will rely on the uncontroverted evidence of the prosecution. This court therefore holds that the prosecution has established count one of the charge beyond reasonable doubt. Consequently, the defendant is hereby convicted in respect of count one. With respect to count two of the charge, the defendant was charged with making a broadcast receipt and had in Nigeria with intent to intimidate the population, issue deadly threats that anyone who flouts such a sit-at-home order should write his will, as a result of which banks, schools, markets, shopping malls, fuel stations domiciled in the eastern states of Nigeria were not open for businesses. Citizens and regular movements in the eastern states of Nigeria were grounded. This offense is also punishable under Section 1(2)(b) of the Terrorism Prevention Act. The ingredients are similar as contained in count one, except that
this offense is punishable under Prevention Act of 2020 what? He refused to mention it. Make una dey see how the thing dey move, and nobody cares to listen. Listen very well, he refused to mention which 2021, 2023, right? Okay, I mean 2013. Sorry to say.
The prosecution must establish that the defendant indeed issue a threat to anyone who flouts his sit-at-home order in the southeastern state of Nigeria. The evidence as led by the prosecution shows that the defendant issued a sit-at-home order wherein he threatened the residents of the southeast state from going out. He further threatened that any church, markets, schools, banks or shops which opened will be destroyed. This was the purpose of his broadcast of 30th day of May 2021, where he stated that he had an announcement to make regarding the shutdown of the entire Southeast. He stated exactly at 9 minutes 10 seconds in the broadcast contained in Exhibit PWW, and I quote, "Tomorrow being the 31st day of May, there is complete lockdown, no church, no market, and nobody should be seen outside tomorrow. I do not want violence. I do not want anybody to resort to violence. I condemn it completely and totally. We do not want to spill the blood of the innocent. Therefore, I am urging restraint across board. I am urging our people to honor the memory of people who died. There will be no school, no church, market, banks, car on the roads. There will be complete shutdown. If you want to be alive, do not come out tomorrow." What I'm saying is that do not come out tomorrow. If you value your life, there will be complete shutdown of Biafra land tomorrow. Any community that allows vehicles to pass tomorrow will be in trouble. Anybody in any car or lorry except in ambulance will be in trouble. I know some people are very foolish, trying to open their shop around 12. If you open that very shop, we will burn you inside it. Especially Enugu, Umuahia, Abakaliki people. You are very stupid. Tomorrow we will show you on court. This statement at first sounded peaceful and even seemed as if he was only persuading people to honor the memory of some people. However, defendant, in his typical aggressive way of speaking, began issuing threats to those who might want to obey his order, that might not want to obey his order. The people of the Southeast are Nigerians, and I take judicial notice substantially are Christians who go to church, and merchants that are into trade, and there are children who were threatened against going to church, their places of business and schools. This cause wonders if this can be said to be agitation for self-agitations. Unequivocally, I say no. The people of the southeast of Nigeria are entitled to their right to personal liberty, freedom of movement under Section 35 and Section 41 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 as amended. The said section provides, and I quote, "Every person shall be entitled to his personal liberty, and no person shall be deprived of such liberty, save in the following cases and in accordance with the procedure permitted by law. A. In execution of the sentence and order of court in respect of criminal offence of which he has been found guilty. B. By reason of his failure to comply with the order of court and in order to secure the fulfillment of any obligation imposed upon him by law. C. For the purpose of bringing him before a court in execution of order of court or upon reasonable suspicion of his having committed a criminal offence. D. In the case of a person who has not attained the age of 18 years, for the purpose of his education, infectious or contagious disease, person of unsound mind, person addicted to drugs or alcohol, vagrants for those people, or purpose of those care or treatment or protection of community. F. For the purpose of preventing the unlawful entry of any person to Nigeria or of affecting the expulsion, extradition, or unlawful removal from Nigeria of any person or the taking of proceedings relating thereto. Provided that a person who is charged with an offence and who has been detained in lawful custody awaiting trial shall not continue to be kept in such detention for a period longer than the maximum period of imprisonment prescribed for him. Section 41 provides, every citizen is entitled to move freely throughout Nigeria, to reside in any part thereof, and no citizen of Nigeria shall be expelled from Nigeria or refuse entry thereby or exit therefore. They are also entitled, unquote, they are also entitled to their right to freedom of religion as expressed under Section 38 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. The right to personal liberty, movement, religion are complementary of each other. Court jealously guides these rights, and they are basic rights which belong to them as being human beings. These rights are so fundamental. Kindly see, my Lord Agaku JCA has initiated on this in Okafor versus Lagos State Government and another citation supply. The people of the Southeast cannot be ordered to sit at home by a person, especially for someone who is not a legally recognized official of the federal government or an official of any of the states. The only person entitled to restrict movement of persons within Nigeria is the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria under emergency power under Section 305 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 as amended. The President can order for a conflict area where there is a crisis of natural disaster. The defendant is not the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, thus lacks any power to so declare a sit at home in any part of the country. The defendant arrogated to himself power to he lacks, and with the threat of violence ordered the residents of the southeastern states to stay at home or face the consequences of their disobedience. This is an unconstitutional act which is subversive and amounts to nothing more than a terrorist act. It is also a notorious fact that the people of Southeast have been subjected to sit-at-home threats on Mondays for years now. PW4, who stated that he was stationed in the Southeast, especially in Imo State for some years, gave evidence that Monday sit-at-home is a usual occurrence wherein the towns are deserted, even the farmlands. PW4 also gave evidence on the death of one Ahmad Goodluck, a former aide to the former President Goodluck Jonathan, that he said Ahmed Goodluck had been killed by airport men in pursuance to the order of defendants. Ahmad Goodluck was trying to catch a flight out of Owerri on the 30th day of May 2021 when he ran into a checkpoint by airport and was shot dead. PW4 stated that he was one of those who got to the scene first. It must be noted that 30th of May 2021 was a Sunday, not a Monday, but notwithstanding, it leads to the death of a person trying to move around due to the directive of the defendant as shown in Exhibit PWK. Is a medical report from the Nigerian Police Medical Services, Owerri. The report is dated 18th July 2021 and it states, to whom it may concern, medical report. Late Ahmed Goodluck Ahmed, hospital number. The victim allegedly shot dead by hoodlums suspected to be IPOB/ETN members on 30th October 2021 at about 7 hours along Airport Road, Owerri. Picture of lifeless man seen, body of disease, there is information. The above medical reports, duly signed by the medical practitioner, clearly states the immediate cause of the death of Ahmed Goodluck and links him to the defendant as leader of IPOB and ETN. The action of the defendant cannot be excused under any circumstances. The declaration of a sit-at-home without any constitutional power, especially the accompanied by the threat, is a terrorist act. The defendant did not present any evidence to rebut this case, the case of the prosecution. Consequently, he admits the evidence as presented by the prosecution. The prosecution has successfully proved count 2 beyond reasonable doubt. Consequently, the defendant is hereby convicted of count 2. With respect to count 3, the defendant is charged with professing to be a member and leader of indigenous people of Biafra IPOB, a proscribed organization in which thereby committing an offense contrary to and punishable under Section 16 of the Terrorism Prevention Act 2013. Section 16 of the Terrorism and Prevention and Prevent Act provides, and I quote, any person who is a member or professes to be a member of terrorist group commits an offense and is liable on conviction to imprisonment for a time not less than 21 years. The ingredients of the offense from the above provide provisions are: 1. The defendant must be a person. The defendant must be a member or professes to be a member of a terrorist group. 3. The terrorism group must have been proscribed at the time the defendant claimed or professes membership of such group. As earlier established, defendant is a human being. There is no doubt about that. With respect to second ingredient, prosecution has led evidence showing that the defendant was not just a member, but he was the leader of a terrorist organization known as Indigenous People of Biafra. Indeed, in the broadcast of 16th May 2021, as contained in the PWW, the defendant, in the beginning of the clip, stated this, and I quote, "My name is Nnamdi Kanu. I am the leader of Indigenous People of Biafra and director of Radio Biafra, Biafra Television. I will remain a loyal servant of the people," unquote. He further stated around 51 minutes mark into the video. If God is on our side, which I know He is, the army of Nigeria will die in Biafra land. Everybody will die. I will be the one leading it. By God's grace, everything called Nigeria will perish in Biafra land. The world must be prepared for what is to come. Unquote. In several other broadcasts, the defendant admitted being the leader of indigenous people of Biafra. There is no fact before this court showing that defendant is not member and in fact leader of the sales group. The defendant from the evidence before this court also possessed power to order the coordinator of IPOB in a broadcast dated 11th May 2021 in Exhibit PWW. The defendant, while commenting on the meeting of Southern Governors held in Asaba, stated around 35 minutes to the residents, white feet, and I quote, concerning the lockdown announced yesterday, I urge all people of Biafra and all those in Biafra land to disobey the lockdown order given by the Geological Republic of Nigeria. The reason is because they want to use the dead of the night to move their fighters into our forest, because we have defeated their foot soldiers. Metiala, we must resist this stupid lockdown, and it will not hold in Biafra. I am calling on all the coordinators, deputy coordinator of ECN, ESN, and IPOB not to sleep in their houses today, but to look for somewhere else to stay. Because now we are in the trenches. Now you will know what is freedom fighting for. It is not comfortable. It is not good. Do not sleep at home. Do not sleep at home. Change your phone and even your phone itself. The defendant no doubt belongs to the group and belongs to the professing to be a member. He is a leader of the group with the influence of commanding the coordinators of the group. Not only IPOB, but even Eastern Security Network, which is the armed wing of IPOB. In a broadcast of 12th December 2020, the defendant made an announcement in inaugurating the military group known as Eastern Security Network, which is the armed wing of the indigenous people of Biafra. He stated, and I quote, "We have cowards, spineless idiots as governors. They have given over our land to the Janjaweed to occupy in perpetuity. This very generation, this very IPOB will not tolerate it. Not now, not tomorrow, not forever. We will rather all perish and die than to allow our land to be taken over by the Janjaweed. This is a warning to all the governors who are conspiring due to one political conspiration to give our land to infidels.
I don't feel sleepy.
Sucking them from this time. It cannot happen. Not under our watch. We are being told that some of these invaders come from Senegambia, Mali, from Niger Republic, and some from Chad, according to Governor of Katsina State, El-Rufai. Therefore, we are setting up the Eastern Security Network to combat the excesses of these vagabonds, criminals from crossing his terrain along the same line as Amotekun, the one set up by Metiala. What we are launching before the world today is Eastern Security Network, not a Biafra army, and we will let the world know when the army is too much. But for our present purposes, we are setting it up to defend our land, Biafra against Marunda from the Sahel, to be precise. In the coming days, you shall see them in their uniform, performing the critical issue of providing security for our land, unquote. The defendants who were vividly agitated continue in the broadcast by stating, no governor in the southeast and south-south have been able to form a security outfit Therefore, IPOD must defend our land to the very last blood. We shall not stop, not now, not tomorrow, not forever, until our land is get rid of these Fulani terrorists. In the third video broadcast, there was a side video of the man of the Eastern Security Network dressed in black with red cap, waving black flag with instigate of Eastern Security Network. This is therefore no respect to the third ingredient. The evidence before this court shows that IPOB is a proscribed group. I take judicial notice of Section 2 under Section 122 Evidence Act of the order made by my learned brother Nyako J in suit number FAC/ABJ/AS/A71/2017 between Attorney General of the Federation versus Indigenous People of Biafra. Today, dated 20th September 2017, wherein the activities of Indigenous People of Biafra were proscribed. The said order crystallized into PWJ, which is the Federal Republic of Nigeria Official Gazette number 99 in volume 104, dated 20th September 2017, titled Terrorism Prevention Order number Terrorism Prevention Order of 2017. The Gazette reads, and I quote, notice is hereby given that by the order of Federal High Court in suit number FAC/ABJ/TS/A71/2017 dated 20th September 2017, as per the schedule to this notice, the activities of indigenous people of Biafra are declared terrorist and illegal in any part of the country, Nigeria, especially in the southeast, south region of Nigeria, as prescribed pursuant to Section 2 of the Terrorism Prevention Act 2011 as amended. 2. Consequently, the general public is hereby warned that any person or group of persons participating in any manner whatever in any form of activities involving or concerning the prosecution of the collective intention of otherwise of the said group.
I don't feel sleep. Oh.
The provision of the Terrorism Prevention Act 2011 as amended and
Siridi.
to prosecution. The import of the above is that beginning from the commencement date of 20th September 2017, any person claiming to be a member of IPOB commits a terrorist act. The defendant, by his broadcast of 11th May 2021, 12th December 2020, professed to be a member of proscribed group. Thus, he is in breach of Section 16(1) of the Terrorism Prevention Amendment Act 2013. Consequently, he is hereby convicted of count 3. On count 4 and 5, which are closely related, the defendant is charged with inciting members of Nigeria to hurt and kill Nigeria security personnel and their family members, thereby committing offense under Section 1, Sub 2H of the Terrorism Prevention Amendment Act 2013. The section provides as follows: any person or body corporate knowingly in or outside Nigeria direct.
This is a wake-up call. I may not continue listening to this because I pour out my heart for Mazen Nnamdi Kanu. I feel the pain. But come to think of it, do you think this Mazen Nnamdi Kanu they are holding? Each time you see federal government coming out to suppress you, it means you are saying the truth. The reason why bandits are still in vogue, why they are still reigning, why they are still even they are calling them for negotiations because they are not putting eye on them. They are killing the innocent poor masses. So it didn't disturb them. But Mazi Nnamdi Kanu came with a fact that even the whole world don't know about. And all of them are listening to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. I may not continue listening to all this trash, because to me it is a complete trash. It is a complete waste of time. You want to convict. In fact, they have convicted him already. Because you can read the first count, he be convicted. Second count, he be convicted. Third count, he be convicted. Even when they lied. The Ahmed Gulak is talking about Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. He say, despite the fact it happened on Sunday, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu made it categorically clear on that very particular broadcast that the sit at home will be on Monday, because we're not going to do the sit at home or Remembrance Day on that 30th, which is on Sunday. And Ahmed Gulak was murdered on Sunday. And he said that according to the report from this hospital and also from the police, that he was murdered by suspected IPOB members and ESM members. So the doctors now are the one who is telling you they are suspected. He didn't say that there is any forensic they carry out on the bullet used on that guy, and is it come from the ESM or IPOB members. There's nothing of such. In the same country, they will tell you, after conducting the forensic, we found out that the bullet they used to murder this guy is from so group, because every bullet have a registered number. And when you put the registered number on a system, it will show you how the bullet entered, who shot it, from which kind of gun that bullet has been shot. If I'm wrong, please correct me on this regard. Nothing of such. It is now the nurses or the doctors of the house or the hospital is telling you that it's suspected. But he didn't say that investigation carried out by the men of the Nigerian police or military concludes that this guy will have been murdered by so time, so person, so place, at what time, and at what incident. You concluded suspected ESN and IPOB members. I may not control to listen to it, because the more I listen to it, the more I get irritated and agitated. The more I get angry. If you think that suppressing Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is only him alone, then you're making a very big mistake. Now, the voice of Igbo they are trying to suppress. They have succeeded in suppressing Simon Ekpa. Now it's Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Because each time you see a government of Nigeria hammering on very particular something, that means that person is really want to take food out of their mouth. Anywhere you are, hold our politicians accountable for what happened to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Whether they convict Mazi Nnamdi Kanu either to death or to life imprisonment or whatever conviction that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu faced today, we should hold the Southeast governors and all the whole politicians, including those ones who said they are millionaires and billionaires, who have never uttered a word on the issue of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Because all of them are complicit. Because what is raining now is Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, look at this, look at that. The imported violence in the Imo State, even Hope come out and say that all the whole killings that have nothing to do with IPOB, including Ahmed Gulak. And then they are saying that it was Mazi Nnamdi Kanu who ordered for the Ahmed Gulak, former Goodluck Jonathan's heir, to be murdered. What they see? Hand of Chukwumacha Soludo is on this. Biafrans, this is a wake-up call. If we allow this to slide, just know it that we are finished. I am here shouting, not because I love shouting. One day, if an Igbo is being taken away today, one, I'm a landlord in my family, AK1, and what if I, the complete 7 boys, all is alive, with a few lands. Every father can buy every thing. If I'm going to ban for our future generation, if only my kids will even agree to live in Biafra land. So me that is here shouting, and what we find again, ask one our pieces. My brother, I hands up here. Man, or here, Eba no kwa, Obi that is Obru mana. That I can go out even at the middle of the night. I can go anywhere I want to go. No harassment. Without even my passport in my pocket. My passport will stay from year in, year out without no police coming to knock on my door, ask me where is your passport or your visa. But if the remaining Igbos who are still hoping for that zoo to be good, allow this to slide. My brother, I am not saying that I'm not an Igbo man, but I'm telling you this. I don't do this guy for a very long time. Trying to at least open the eyes of other Biafrans who still preach one Nigeria, that there's no road there. Look at what they're doing to our brothers. We have millionaires and billionaires in business and in government offices. In that court now, none of them appear there, at least to give solidarity to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. We all have abandoned somebody who is fighting for us. The kind of approach they have approached this man, if you ever taken this money, Nyesom Wike made it clear that he fears no any Igbo man except one person, which is Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, because they have approached this guy with all manner of offer for him to denounce Biafra, for him to just put pen in paper, and then they will let him go. He said no. Look at the judge reading the judgment of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu to convict him. His mouth is shaking. His hand is shaking. His voice is shaking. Because he knows that what he's doing is committing a suicide. And the conviction of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, that will be the end of Nigeria. Yes, it will be the end of Nigeria. But before then, we need to fight for our brother. I don't know how you see it. I don't know how I'm going to do it. But a stitch in time will not always save 9. It will save 10 and above. At this juncture, I said I will not continue to be listening this trash. Please, my people, I am sorry if I'm cutting this off. But later on, we can still have a dialogue. I will still bring the news and whatever judgment they give. I don't even want to stay here and hear where you say Mazi Nnamdi Kanu have been convicted to life imprisonment or have been convicted to death either by hanging or by firing squad. I don't want to hear it. So that my heart will not cut off. Because my heart has started to cut already. I pour my heart out for this young man. I pour my heart out for Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Please, don't be offended. Please. For my own mental health, let me just end it here. When I go still hear the news later, whatever they decided, you will still hear it here later. Either through YouTube, through my Facebook page, or otherwise. But you will still hear the news. So please, I urge you to stay fast. Stay well. But I've already been reading it. First charge, convicted. Second charge, convicted. Third charge, convicted. So they will read all the whole charges, all the 15 count charges. It's going to take hours. And Mazi Nnamdi Kanu will all be convicted in all. Then what do you think that will be the judgment? If you know what will be the judgment, drop it at the comment section. Please, forgive me if I'm cutting this video. But I have to do it. Because we cannot continue listening to this trash. Even you that is listening to it, you have get tired. My ear is aching. Hearing this trash, you call judgment. My people, Biko, I urge you to stay calm while we wait for the outcome. Or you can as well hear it from other source. This news is not going to be good. It is well. May God Almighty bless us all. Bless you. And bless every hand that typed amen and every hand that commented. Please, as you're watching this clip, just keep on commenting. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is not guilty. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is not a criminal. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is not a terrorist, but a saver of his own people. Look at the outcome. All the whole Igbo billionaires, all the whole Igbo businessmen and politicians, they should clap for themselves. They should just clap for themselves and they went to bed and they will sleep safely. That their own brother are being convicted. The rest of the people being arrested the same way they arrest Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Some people have been free. Bello Badejo, who murdered a retired military general with his boys, and a catch of arms were being discovered in his possession, have been freed for the interest of national unity. Because the Igbo leaders all are complicit. None of them is even talking anything about Mazen Nnamdi Kanu. Now God is going to punish Obi Kubana, Kubana chief priest, Joey Zaza, E-Money, KC, name it all. Chineke yakpo hancha ni n'ọkụ. Chukwu oke abịama yakpo hancha ni n'ọkụ. All their children will never amount to anything in this life. With all the whole money they are acquiring, they will never amount to anything. All of them will be useless. Pray this prayer every day of your life until you leave this earth. These guys that close their mouth and the one person Nnamdi Kanu could be convicted. It is well. All their prayers and everything they have been suffering, everything they have been working for, it shall work for them. They should go and collect cup from Tinubu, and they also go and collect handshake from Tinubu. I said it earlier on. Tinubu run out of the country because he knows that, in fact, they have already prepared the judgment, deliver it while I'm out. So that they will not say I'm the one who influenced it. We know about all these things. But, God, that is, please, once again, I am sorry if I'm cutting this video, but I have to do it. It is well. Bye, my wonderful people.